Hello, here's my New World graphics settings for Nvidia 4090, optimizing for DLSS. First things in the game menu, my video settings, I have my frames uncapped. This will help a lot with the stuttering that you see. I have DLSS because if you have this off, I'll show you what the game looks like. If you have it off in the daytime, your cactus and grass are going to look very shimmery. You see that white? Every time you move your mouse, you get that white flashing. That's a little bit annoying. So I have to use DLSS 4. I keep it on performance. This helps with the frames, especially in PvP areas. I keep the sharpness at 0. I don't use frame generation. It makes the game feel better. I have no low latency because with low latency on, at the very top here, you see where my latency is at 0. That will go up. My effect details, I put that on low. Lighting details low. I don't notice too much of a difference with the game, but in the PvP area, your frames are going to tank if this is on high. It doesn't matter if you have a 4090 or a 5090. So post-processing details high, shadows low. I don't like the high quality shadows in this game. Terrain high. I want my rocks to look sharp. Textures, I want the tree bark to look sharp. Water, I want the water to look real. I keep VSync off. I don't cap frames per second in the background. And look at that. You see with the DLSS on, you don't have that white shimmering, the glitching, the flashing that some people might say. Let's go over here, and I'm going to go to my Nvidia app. Now, inside my Nvidia app, for my global settings, make sure that DLSS override, you use 3D application for games that allow it, like New World. Smooth motion. You can double your frames with this, I'll show you, but I keep it off because if you turn it on, you're going to have latency. And if you're playing a bow or musket shooting in range, you don't want that latency. If you're melee, you might be able to get away with it. Max frame rate off. Monitor technology. I find that using G-Sync was crashing with the driver, so I keep it on fixed refresh rate. OpenGL over here, it's on auto. VSync off. Shader cache size. Keep this at 100 gigabyte. It's probably very good. Prefer maximum performance. And if you go to the program settings, you can see all the game settings that I have that I mentioned to you guys. And it's very important. You keep your max frame rate off. I used to cap it in games like Ark, but in New World, you're just going to have that stuttering effect. Now, if I go to my Nvidia control panel, and if I look at my 3D settings, one thing that you'll notice here, image sharpening off, ambient occlusion off, anti-aliasing off, gamma correction on. I'm playing on a OLED monitor, so my blacks are black already. So in some areas I need that corrected. Anti-alias transparency off. Low latency mode off. If you turn this on, the moment you turn this on, your latency will increase. Max frame rate off, fixed refresh rate, all the stuff you saw in the other app over there. Virtual reality pre-rendered frames. I have an AMD 9950X3D with 3D V-cache, so I'm able to put this at lowest 1. Vertical sync off. Now, here's the Windows settings. So in your Windows, type graphic, and the graphic settings will pop up. Now, I'm using the advanced graphic settings. I disable HDR. I disable optimize for Windows game. But for the Nvidia 4090, I have hardware accelerated GPU scheduling on. Now, this is very important. Make sure you also come over here, resolution. And make sure for your advanced resolution setting, you have your actual highest refresh rate that your monitor supports. Mine supports 240 Hz, 4K resolution. So I disabled dynamic refresh rate as well. Now there's another setting. Let's go back to graphics settings. Let me show you this one real quick. In New World, you want to go to your GPU preference, let Windows decide high performance. Otherwise, your power saving, you're gonna have lower performance on your GPU. Optimize for Windows games, keep that off. Another setting, game mode. This is on Windows 11 and above. Game mode, you can turn that on. Let's close off here. I have a program that I'm using. You can use it for free. I paid for this program though. It's called Process Lasso. And one thing I want to show you about this in Process Lasso, let's drag this over so you can see the game while I'm doing this. If you're a streamer or a content creator, what you want to do, if you have a 9950X3D like I have, you're going to find New World. You can go to Active Processes. One thing you have to do, if you're on any game on Steam, first you have to go to Steam, CPU Affinity, Current, and Always. You can go Always, and make sure that on Steam, it's using your first 15 cores if you have a 9950X3D. If you don't have a 9950X3D, don't worry about this one. It looks like this. And then if you have that on Steam, what you can do, you can go over here to New World. This will boost your low frames per second. Right click, CPU Affinity, Always, and then now it's the same. Now I'm only using my 3D Vcache on my CPU for the game. Alright, and that's for the Process Lasso. Let's go around. Let's run around for a second so you can see what my frames look like in the game. I'm getting about 200 out in the desert. There's a little town over there. I didn't want to make this video too long. I look up at the giant pyramid in the sky. Got my musket. It would get up to like 230. I'm being a little bit lazy today. I'm using OBS at the same time to record this on the same computer, so that's dropping me by about 20 frames. So if you're just gaming and not recording, you're probably going to have about 20 frames more than what I have right now. And if you look at Process Lasso again, one thing that you'll notice in the Process Lasso is that my OBS, I'm using the first cores over here. Sorry. The second set of cores, 16 to 31. But it's still, I'm using my GPU to render the stream and the video. So this is what I'm getting. So if you're streaming on YouTube, if you're streaming on Twitch, you're more than likely able to play above that 60 frame limit that they are giving you. If you're using Nvidia app to record, same thing. Nvidia app, this one, you go to Process Lasso. Set your CPU affinity to the 16 to 31, and then make sure that the current is at the same as well. So that when you're using the Nvidia app to record, like me, this is what your Nvidia app, you click the Alt-Z overlay. And if you look at the recording for video, you can even use the Nvidia broadcast to use AI to help you sound better. If you look at the actual video capture, you can record at 4K resolution, 120 frames per second using AV1. Now, I don't need 93.7. I could probably drop this down to about 72 and get about the same quality. Now, this has been my settings for my Windows and my Nvidia settings. If you guys need any help setting up your Nvidia settings, leave a comment in the video below or email tametheark@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. I will be putting a Nvidia 5090 in this computer. I just wanted to share what the 4090 is like right now. And then when that's uploaded, I'll compare the results. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.